Well, that's it. It's the end. It's time to put this car up for sale online to get as much money as possible. We're going to sell it, but before we do, we're going to make one last modification. But le savoir, it's not too complicated. You remember it had 200,000 kilometers on the odometer. We'll set it to 100,000. No one will notice, considering its condition. No one will ever notice the difference between 100,000 and 200,000. No, rookie, you can't do that. Look at who I am. I'm car vertical. And thanks to me, you won't be able to fool future buyers. Because every time you had a vehicle inspection, I recorded the reading. And every time you went to a garage, the mileage was noted. So, everything is written in my report. And you can even see if the car was stolen, or worse, if it was in an accident because of me. So you can't scam people. It's fine, buddy. I'll just sell it abroad. Sorry, you're out of luck. I work all over Europe and beyond. So you'll be forced to sell this car with its real mileage. If you also want to use my services, look at what's at the bottom of the screen. You'll find a promo code in the description and first pinned comment for a small discount on future report purchases. Trust me, you'll want it. Chaser video, emergency video. We're in a rush. Basically, let me explain. I have an event in a month. For the car, I gave myself 3 months to get it done. The kitten collector was a month and a half late. It was supposed to arrive after a month. We were at 2.5 months, and it still hadn't arrived. I managed to cancel the order so I could order another one from a different supplier. It will arrive the day after tomorrow. So, before continuing with the car, basically, I have a month to put it together. Collector, turbo, build the straw dome, install the valve dome, injectors, camshafts, camshaft pulley, and do the pre-map. The final mapping appointment at Tubato is already scheduled. All that in 1 month, considering the tight deadlines and inevitable small things that go missing, like a hose or fitting. The nights are pretty short right now, because as a result, I'm thinking a lot about what I need to buy, what I need to plan. Always a fitting, a little vacuum hose, oil hose, or something else. And the oil cooler also needs to be positioned. We have 1 month to finish. This is the last time I'm preparing a car with an event coming up, because it's just too much pressure. Actually, I originally gave myself 3 months, which was doable. Now, the deadline has just been reduced to 1 month. It's tough. Today, my main goal is to install the injectors. If I get that done, I'll be very happy since it's a big step forward, especially with the current mess. I'll finish this while waiting for the other parts to arrive. Right now, normally, the elbow goes here. Don't worry, this isn't my car's intake. It's just to protect it while I move the car, so nothing gets into the engine. Normally, there's an elbow here. My blow-off valve will be here. I've made progress by adding the small vacuum hose for the blow-off valve, which will be behind my bumper. Tebow and I actually wanted it on the cold side. I could have put it on the hot side of the intercooler, but I didn't want to. There you go, and it just doesn't want to fit. So we're putting it on the right side, the cold side, and the only place where it fits is here. At first, I tried to put it there. It was too close to the throttle body and battery, plus I put my intake air temperature sensor there, so that spot's taken. I'll hide it behind the bumper instead. Today's goal is to finish that. If I get the injectors done, I'll be happy. Since the new manifold comes Monday and I'll install it Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'll remove everything from the left side, position the manifold and turbo, and decide where to place the elbow. Because I bought a weld-on elbow so I can make my intercooler piping. Then it goes off for welding 2 weeks later. And in the meantime, we'll work on the camshafts and everything that goes with it. Oil cooler and all the rest. It's going to be a huge mess. It's going to go really, really fast. The videos won't necessarily be very organized. It's going to be a bit all over the place. I apologize in advance, but honestly, I didn't think I'd have to do this car in such a rush. Anyway, let me give you a quick update. Clearly, I'm telling you, I didn't film everything, because I took apart a lot of things I didn't think I would. I'm stopping for the day now. I'm sorry. I may not be smiling in these videos. My patience is really being tested. I'll show you my progress. I had to remove the throttle body. I had to take apart my idle valve again. I managed to remove the fuel rail. Here it is. So, I'm really happy. I managed to remove it. Except that it made me realize that the connectors on the original injectors are not at all the same as those on the aftermarket injectors. So, now I understand why they give you all this with it. I just realized that I have to redo my connectors. Well, it's good that I can disconnect the original connector. And now, I even have to change the pin. The pin doesn't fit into the new dynamic injector connector. I don't understand why. So, I have to redo them one by one. And knowing that there are 6 and 2 per connector, I have to do 12. Accessibility is terrible. Well, I'll do them one by one. However, I think you need a specific crimping tool. I don't have it. So I'll go buy it tomorrow. This is going to take a very, very, very long time. The injectors are really the part I dreaded the most. Now I understand why. All right, see you tomorrow. Well, I have to admit that last night, it wasn't easy for me mentally. I took apart a lot of parts to try to do the connectors. Everything went wrong. It was a real nightmare. I have to admit that it really wasn't the best moment of my day. But in the meantime, luckily I have amazing friends. Charles from Motorism, I called him, and Thomas too, his employee. I explained my problem to them. I told them, don't you have any small clamps or something? I'm breaking my clamps one after another. So now I don't have any spares left. And I basically showed him the pictures of my injectors that I had. And he said to me, man, it's fine. He told me I have exactly what you need. He told me I have a mini harness adapter for the injectors you're installing. I said, are you serious? He said, I'll give you the adapters, you cut the wires, you do the soldering. And soldering, I have to admit, I much prefer soldering over pinning. Because, like crimping the pins, I've never done that. Thank you, Charles. I love you, Charles. This is what I went to get last night. So this is the connector for the dynamic injector that's here. We can talk a bit more about it now. Since now it's good, I'm a bit more relaxed. And here, actually, this is the mini injector connector. So I don't need this one. I cut it off completely. And actually, I just solder all these adapters in place of the Toyota connector. Now, the soldering isn't going to be very pleasant because I'll have to work lying down here and bent over. So, in terms of position, it's not the best. But I much prefer soldering over using those little clamps, like the ones I kept breaking yesterday. It'll be much easier with this. I'll set up the camera and show you what one solder looks like. Then I'll do the other 6. There are 12 in total, since there are 2 wires per injector. And I won't be filming because, honestly, I'll try to stay focused so I don't accidentally solder the ground instead of the chip, and vice versa. All right, let me give you a quick update. I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I'm not filming so I can stay focused and make sure I don't solder the cables the wrong way. So it's done. I've done 3 out of 6. The adapters are soldered. Afterwards, I think I'll try to slip a little sleeve over them to protect them. I just have the last 3 left to do. Of course, the most annoying ones. And to make things even better, I didn't mention it earlier, but actually, I've had a crazy migraine since this morning. When I lean over the car, blood rushes to my head so I can't last more than 3 minutes. I straighten up, wait, then start again. That's how I remember this build. I'm definitely going to remember this. It's a ton of work, but I chose it, so I won't complain. It's tough, but it better be insane to drive when it's finished. All the connections are done now. That's it, I've finally finished all my little soldering jobs. So now the next step is to change the injectors that are on the original rail and put in the dynamic injectors. I'm going to sit down and do that calmly. Here we go, another hassle, as if it wasn't enough already. So that's actually why I really never want to do any builds with a deadline or anything like that ever again. The injectors aren't the right ones. That is, I just put the fuel rail into the engine. And actually the injectors were just floating in there. I thought, wow, that's weird. Actually, the seal that's there, the injector head isn't compatible at all with the JZ. These are definitely not the right ones I received. The real compatible ones look like this. And you can see here, there's really a difference. It's missing. Actually, this O-ring, as they call it. And these are the original seals, which are, well, a bit worn out. But really, they're more like spacers than seals. And so, well, these ones are much smaller. So they just float around inside the engine. So I'm going to try to replace this with that. If I have to return the injectors and wait another 4 weeks, that's not happening. I'm tired of replacing everything and fed up with this crap. I had ordered injectors for a JZ and they didn't arrive. Well, they're just not the right ones. Now, all I can do is keep my fingers crossed. I changed the O-rings on the injectors. I hope it'll work. So it's not exactly the same system as the dynamic injector. I can see clearly that they actually have a specific ring to fit onto the engine. I'm going to install them. I'll get back to you once I've tried. I'm really sorry for not filming every step. But honestly, my migraine just won't go away. I'm really trying to get as much done as possible, and then I'll head home. I'll give you a quick video update. I'm stopping here. The injectors are good. I'm putting the throttle body back together. I've reconnected all the hoses underneath. I also recorded the descent time again. But now I'm stopping here, not because I'm tired or frustrated. Everything's going well. I have less than an hour of work left and have already put everything back together. Sometimes I get migraine attacks like today. I have a treatment that usually works, but this time it's not helping. And I'm in a lot of pain. Even the cap, damn, it hurts me so much. So you see, we're all human, right? And here, you're seeing a side of me you might have never seen before. But this is exactly the part where, well, I'm really having a major migraine attack right now. I feel fucking nauseous. I've been on the verge of wanting to throw up for a while now. When I get up, actually, as soon as I tilt my head, I barely stand up and I feel like throwing up. So I'm going to stop here. It's starting to get hot. We're getting close to 39 degrees. My head feels like a balloon. It's going to explode. So rather than coming off as annoying on video and messing things up and forgetting stuff, I'm going to stop here and go home. I'll lie down in bed and come back later. Right now, it's Saturday. I'll come back on Monday with a clear head, feeling better. Wow, because right now, yeah, honestly, it's really not great. All right, see you Monday. I still look way better than just before. I really want to apologize because the earlier videos, the start of the video, probably weren't very pleasant to watch because, as you saw and as I told you, I had a migraine attack. But it was incredibly intense. The issue was I had an unexpected bad attack that I didn't catch in time with my medication, but it's fine now. I put the injectors back in and we'll show you later when we're at the car. The injectors are back in, the intake is back in, almost everything is back together. And today, Charles is coming. And now, I need to talk to you about something. We're in trouble. I mean it. The top Monty preparation won't happen right away. It won't happen before the event that I'm actually preparing for right now. We sat down and thought about it. And 2 days ago, Charles also called me and said, well, man, I won't lie, your story's putting a bit of pressure on me right now. He said it was a bit stressful that I'm finishing the top Monty prep so quickly. He's mapping the car for me, and just 2 days later, I'll be drifting at the event. Honestly, I get it. Even I could have issues. Imagine if a defense hose or the oil cooler hose blows. I'm planning to install an oil cooler before I leave, and it could fail. The car actually won't have been tested before the event. And it's true that it's a bit of a problem. So we've decided to stop the top mount turbo setup for now. I'm finishing installing what I need, so the oil cooler, the injectors, the map, because with the big injectors I've installed now, it needs to be remapped. Charles said not to start it that way because he doesn't want to mess. He's coming now and we'll map it to get 1 bar. Now we have the programmable ECU with safety features, which is great. Then, after that, I still have a few days before the event. I'll put it back in the garage and I'll install its little plate to set up the oil cooler with an oil temperature sensor and an oil pressure sensor. That way, at least when it comes to the engine oil, I'm all set and I can head to my event with peace of mind. And actually, it's just that we had a big mess because of one part that threw everything off for us, and that was the manifold. The manifold really messed up our schedule, unfortunately. Just to clarify, it's not W Autosport's fault. I want to stress that. They sold it to me but ordered it from the Tonka factory, which makes them custom. At the Tonka factory, they had an IT issue. Their computer system was hacked. It was a huge mess, according to them. The manifold was supposed to arrive in a month. We had already waited 2.5 months, and it still hadn't arrived. That 1.5-month delay caused all the problems. A JZ, GZ. If that hadn't happened, the car might have been ready for the event. We'll play it safe. We're going to take the pressure off because it was putting pressure on Charles. It was putting pressure on me. It was also putting pressure on Tabado, where we have to put the car on the dyno to finish it. So we're dropping it. Plus, it's mid-August and people are on vacation, so parts delivery is a mess. We're dropping it and finishing the tune with the stock turbo today. We're making the car reliable and skipping the camshafts to avoid issues before the event. If I break something installing them, it's too late to order parts. So now we're just tuning and I'm finishing the oil cooler. At least now we're working without pressure. That's what's most important. It may also help us avoid forgetting or making mistakes. That's it. Charles has arrived. He already tweaked the mapping a bit, just so we can at least move the car up to here. I put the bumper back on. I put back the piece of piping that was missing. I did a bit of everything. Now, we disconnected the pressure regulator. He wants us to completely empty the tank. So, we disconnected the pressure regulator, the return line, to put a hose into a canister. There might be 5 or 6 liters of 98 left. We're going to get rid of it all. We'll use this canister here labeled 98, but it's actually ethanol. Screw everything in, and it's working now.
It's good.
Yes, it's a bit high and dripping slowly, but it's dripping. Perfect. I don't think it'll last long since there's not much left in the car. So we'll also take this opportunity to do the ethanol remap. That way, at least that's done. And also to connect the famous connector here that I broke. So you have it? There it is. That's good.
It tightened. Actually, at some point, you see that you stop. It happens. You shouldn't worry about it.
Don't break it again like I did, that's all. Perfect. He will also create the small harness to connect it to the link harness. And at least this way, we'll have the intake temperature info, the fuel pressure info. And then we'll just have oil temperature and oil pressure left. So where are we at? The intake temperature sensor right here is good. It's mounted, it's ready to be powered. Charles is finishing up creating the harness to actually send the info to the link. Now he's going to make the small connector. The tank with the 98 in it has been emptied, so we're going to put ethanol in it. And then we'll start with the first test drive of the setup as it is right now. Basically, not much will change, except that we'll be able to optimize the mapping a bit more and switch it to ethanol. And you told me maybe to add a bit of pop for the event to make it more fun for the spectators.
We can start having a bit of fun, yeah.
There you go. We're not going to mess around too much because the goal is that when the car's actually running at the event, it's to give you a bit of a show with sound and lights. So we'll try to see what we can do. Since the car still has a catalytic converter, we can't make big flames because Charles worries the cat's interior could block the exhaust if I tamper with it. So we'll avoid that and stay safe. All right, here we go. We're taking the car for a little spin again after almost a month and a half of it being out of action. Right now, it's not running perfectly, but that's totally normal. First, I need to go get a dump valve welded on because it's causing a bit of backflow turbulence with the turbo. And actually, I'm waiting for the welders to come back from vacation. I made an appointment at Speedwork to get the flange welded onto the elbow of my dump valve. You'll see it's going to be in this video anyway. So now we're just going to drive around a bit in the city and on the highway so that Charles next to me can tune it nice and easy. And already we'll have big targets, quite a few things while waiting to go to Pan. Same thing, going to Pan at Tubato. Well, same, sorry if you can't see the road very well or anything. It's dirty. We'll wash it later after everything's done. For now, it'll stay in the shade while Charles continues mapping. It's going well so far, and the slow motion works nicely. The increase in speed is pretty linear. It's okay for now. Right now, I'm getting back the feeling I had before, and after that, we'll add the little extras, more and a little bit more power later. But for now, it's pretty okay, yeah. But the engine noise is really less dumb, you know? On a 2-liter, I won't lie, that's unusual. We'll have to fix that.
Don't worry, sir.
The engine noise on a Toyota, take advantage of it. You don't see that twice.
Well, here we adjusted the mixture a bit, so it's this table here. It's the main fuel mixture table. We made a few adjustments, and we're pretty good everywhere. The mixture level, we're okay. We still lost some boost because the setup is like the original. There's a MAC valve installed between the wastegate and the turbo outlet, but we set the duty to 0, so it's like it's not even there. Okay.
So it's mechanical now, not the MAC valve.
We're on spring pressure now, eyes forward. And we can see that at low RPM, well, in this range from 2005 to 3005, we have kind of a plateau between 0.75 and 0.8 bar. Yeah. You'll get the maximum at 5,000. We're at 0.85, and for a short moment we hit 0.9 with a 0088. Okay. And after that it gets a bit more precise.
We can fix that with the MAC.
We can fix it. Actually, it's in that. It's with the speed you use that you increase the power on the water. If you ask it to maintain 1 bar on the water, that's where it's going to put you very quickly.
What? And that's not good. Well,
I actually don't know this turbo. I don't know me.
all I know is that you shouldn't go over 1 bar.
Yeah, but past a certain RPM, I think you should still lower the pressure. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll try to put a little bit at the bottom and a little bit at the top, okay? To try not to overdo it at that point. We'll put everyone at 1 bar until, for example, 6,000. And then we'll lower the pressure.
Maybe I am, yeah, obviously. And the fact that it's all graduated like that.
With the max, it can smooth things out, or it's so precise that actually you can never, you shouldn't look at that at all. The refresh rates are very high, and we're, you see, actually, when you see the little spikes you see, those are 0.01 bars you see. Yes, okay, got it. That's the way it's displayed. It's so precise that it shows every detail without smoothing, but you don't notice it. Want me to explain? Sure. All Captain Map signals look a bit noisy like that. It's normal.
All right, okay. All right, guys. For obvious reasons, I'm not showing you the mapping phases, let's say, on the road. So, to avoid any issues, I'm not showing any images. We're at the end now. It's good. We're stable at 1 bar, which is more than enough for the event. Most importantly, you mentioned advancing the ignition timing on the dyno earlier. That's where we'll gain power. It'll get interesting. There, we can show you everything since we'll be at Tube, on the dyno, and more. I'll bring my big camera. We're calmly finishing up, then we'll wash it. It's filled with ethanol. We're wrapping up the mapping. If anything odd happens with the pop and bang, I'll let you know. Otherwise, we'll meet at the garage for the rest of the prep before heading to Tube Tubato. That's perfect. Soon after this bad news was announced, as you know, we won't be doing the turbo top mount prep right away, which I regret since I was really looking forward to going all out in 2 weeks. Well, it'll be later. It'll get done, but 2 weeks later, on top of the 2 weeks. Well, there are worse things, really, so I'm not going to complain. It's just that I really wanted to test it out at a big event, you know? But whose idea was it to prep in August? Now, a few days later, at the start of a new week, we're still moving forward. We're finally going to weld this onto that so I can have a dump valve, which will actually be better for the turbo and for my setup. In any case, it'll also be useful in the car's current state. Let's head to the welder. All right, we've arrived at Speedwork. The drive was tricky since I took the wrong road and ended up at their old warehouse. Not sure if you got my message about that. No, I entered the wrong address in the GPS and realized it wasn't correct. Now we're at their new warehouse. I'm with Hugo, who'll handle welding the part for me. So I'll show you exactly the service I needed for the piping of the intercooler. Basically, this is the flange for the dump valve that's going to be mounted with a V-band on the bend of the piping. I think we talked about it before, actually. So I made the little marks for him. He's going to prepare the part. We'll send it to be done, and then he'll move on to welding.
Well, the preparation will first be to adjust the aluminum flange to make sure it fits properly. Then it'll need to be drilled correctly, and after that, everything will be cleaned and made neat.
Yeah, to remove the paint.
Yeah, and after that, in my opinion, even with that, when it's painted like this, there are always some impurities. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out when we weld it.
Don't worry about the paint. I'll repaint it later.
Then you'll repaint it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, don't stress about it.
No, but there's nothing to stress about.
Now they have a nice warehouse and can do almost anything you want. There's even a Maserati over there that wouldn't last 10 weeks on diesel. They rebuild cars, handling exhaust, chassis, and mechanics. Across the way is another warehouse for painting and bodywork. You can rebuild a car here from start to finish. All right, time for welding now.
Yeah, we're going to try to tack this properly, and we'll make a small bead hoping there aren't too many impurities.
It's clean anyway. It's well fitted, yeah.
The most important thing in welding, especially with aluminum, is really the preparation and the cleanliness of the piece, okay? And especially with aluminum, even the slightest impurities show up, it messes everything up.
Aluminum welding looks complicated, huh?
It really requires being clean and having good preparation. Once you have the right settings and good preparation, after that, it's relatively simple. We always have a bit of thickness to deal with, but here it's fine. The thickness is pretty significant, so it's okay. If it's good aluminum with good prep, generally it goes well. After that, it's all about the settings. You have to prepare the electrode because here it's a very sharp electrode. This one, when I say stainless steel, the electrode looks like this. Because when you work with aluminum, it will form a little ball at the tip.
All right, so
By the time it gets going and all that, you'll see it takes a little more time. Actually, the melting bath you really see.
yeah, you can see it there.
You see a little bit between this flange here and this flange here, yes.
You can see that at the bottom.
It's all smooth and perfect, and here it's all rotten actually. It depends on the alloys.
It depends on aluminum quality.
Yeah, the bottom one is great, and the top one,
You can really see the difference there. Yeah, as long as it's waterproof and it works, the rest is fine with me.
it's just to say that the way things look until you've tested them, sometimes it's never a sure thing. Once it's combed and painted, it's finished. What matters is the inside.
Yeah, it's smooth, you can see.
Nothing. And inside for your fingers to fit through, yes.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
That's the most important thing.
Perfect, thanks, man.
De Madurin.
We're back at the garage. That's it, we're going to install the dumb valve now. So, I'm sorry I didn't film it. I completely forgot. You didn't miss anything crazy. I'm an idiot. I just repainted the dumb valve, changed the spring again because I had the wrong one, and now I took off the front bumper and I'm about to install it. The dumb valve is right here. That's it. It's attached to the little elbow that Hugo welded for me earlier. So this is where it's going to go. We've taken off the bumper. I'm working on getting it in place. You can't really see very well here. There's no light. The hose here is going to be used to control the dumb valve. So I'm putting everything back together, And after that, I'm going to show you something pretty cool that I just received, which will be useful for more than one of you. I've reassembled everything and can start the first test soon. But first, as I mentioned, I'll show you this. I'm not paid to endorse it. This is crazy. You can't hear him. He has no mic. He liked it after checking an engine and seeing it worked well. Vavor sent this endoscopic camera, and it's actually pretty good. But hey, assistant, can you come and move the little tip there? Because with one hand, I won't manage. Actually, it has this feature where you can move the tip and it's lit up. And so, you see, the quality is actually pretty good. Two advantages. You can take a photo of what you're filming, and you can record video of what you're seeing. But above all, you can actually direct it anywhere. It's really crazy. Hold on, let's put it here. Look, I'm gonna try to put it there. Look, inside my turbo. I'm sure it's gonna work. Look, there we go. And now, are we going to see the turbo's turbine? Damn, this isn't the right side. Yeah, Vinny, look who it is. It's the bed in the turbo. No, that's awesome. You can really see it clearly. Honestly, it's not bad. I'll add the link in the video description. They didn't pay me to say this, but it's pretty cool. It's really useful when you want to see inside an engine or even access and see things you normally can't. Well, now actually you can go everywhere. It's not very expensive. I'll put everything in the video description. It's so cool to see the turbo. All right, here we are in the chair. It's slowly starting to heat up. That's good, but I think the spring in the dump valve isn't the right one because, well, actually, I don't know. It seems to open really early, but the sound of the dump valve is pretty satisfying. It really makes a unique noise. I'd never heard that dump valve sound before. But this one shifts sharply. There's no problem with that. So there's no more venting. It's weird, actually. I'm realizing I'm driving it without venting. Well, that's going to be good for the turbo. Well, in the end, it still drives pretty well, even in this condition. A few small tasks remain, like cold starting on the ECU map, but that's just a detail. Once warm, it's perfect. There are only a few minor misfires, nothing serious. I think we'll redo the spark plug gap a bit too, just to make sure it's good. So, I still have to do the oil cooler, so we'll get to it. But it won't be today for me. I'm not sure if we'll take it to Tubato for the dyno and finish the map before or after the oil cooler. Once that's done, it's ready for the event. We'll keep it at the garage a bit longer. I miss having it at home. It's been a little while now since it's been back home. And I have to admit, yeah, I miss it. It needs to come back. I need to drive it. Well, it's not done yet. There are still a few little things to do before going to the dyno in the event. I'm still really missing a proper handbrake. So, the original handbrake works pretty well, let's say. But I wanted to get myself the best of the best when it comes to handbrakes, while still keeping it original. Because you should know, with Japanese cars, you really don't need a hydraulic handbrake. Well, at least for me, I've never had one on any of the Japanese cars I've owned, because the cable setup was already super strong. Except this time, since it's a bit of a long sedan and I'm going to need a lot of responsiveness. I got myself D1 brake shoes from the brand Project Mu. You'll see, that's what some guys use in championships in Japan. So, it looks like this. First of all, with the packaging, you already know what you're getting into. High-performance brake pad. Here are the brake shoes. They're inside my disc to brake the rear wheels with the handbrake, except that these have a much more aggressive lining than the original ones. It's kind of the same idea as the pads I put on the Corvette back in the day for the rear. I'd put double calipers on the rear axle with ultra-abrasive pads. Well, it's the same here, except we're using an original setup. Well, here, nothing could be simpler. You have to remove the disc, and actually, the shoes are inside. So, you take off the caliper, remove the disc, take out the old shoes, put in the new ones, and put everything back together. Here you go, it's done. We've removed the disc and now have access to the original shoes. I'll show you. There's not much thickness left, as expected. There isn't much left anyway, so it's not that big a loss. The key task here is cleaning everything. Since I'm going to put my old disc back, I'm going to clean the inside and sand it. so that the abrasive power is even stronger once we put on the new linings. All right, now that the disc is ready, the goal is to remove this. You have to try to understand how it works. Well, there are spring systems all over the place. So I guess you just have to remove the springs. That will open the jaws, like this. Normally, after that, I should be able to access it. I'm in trouble. Tebow, I'm in trouble. This thing just popped out. Appleson, damn it. All right, it's fine. I freaked out for a second because the spring that popped out earlier, I didn't know where it was supposed to go. But it's fine. I looked at the exploded diagrams and I figured out where it goes. I moved all the springs and everything else here. Now we're going to move on to reassembly.
Okay. Tack.
Okay, it's fine. I'm really behind. I didn't necessarily film because honestly, I kind of freaked out. I don't know if we're going to be able to put the piece back with the spring. Actually, when I took it apart, you saw the spring popped out. I didn't see where it was. And I was watching a video online from a guy, but he shows you how to install the part, except he shows it backwards. Thanks to him. I didn't get it and wasted half an hour. I realized this didn't make sense, so I watched a video of someone installing it on a Nexus. It was the same. Now it's installed. The Project Mu pads are good. Now I just have to put the disc, the caliper, the wheel back on, and do the other side. I'm not going to show you the other side because I don't know if it's going to be very useful since it's going to be exactly the same thing. I'll quickly reassemble this, do the other side, and then I'll be done. And now we'll just wait for the date to calmly take the car to the dyno, finish mapping it, and finally know, on the bright side, how much horsepower it's going to make at maximum power with the setup I have in the stock turbo. All right, we're back at the garage. As you can see, this build is going to be full of ups and downs, changes of plans and everything. It's going to be a bit complicated. So, we're going to end this video here. And the car is already pretty far along. It's almost finished before the Wonderland event. However, I can already show you what the next video will be about. The car's loaded up and we're heading to Tubato's place. And we're leaving now.